Wow, okay. Thank you for having me, everyone. My name is Mindy Lindholm, and I am the Executive Director of Cool Ministries. You should probably be familiar with Cool because St. James has been a long-time supporter, but if you're not, we do have one of the largest food pantries in Lake County, and we also do a housing program for homeless families as well. We are celebrating our 40th anniversary this year at Cool, which is just incredible. For over 4 decades now, we've been serving Lake County. And it all started with a group of 6 churches, 6 Lutheran churches. They had gotten together at a ELCA meeting, and they were discussing some of the challenges that their churches were facing, what they were seeing in the community. And they were saying that they were having a lot of people coming to the church looking for food, a lot of families. So they said, what can we do, to help with that? And they said, let's open this food pantry. And so in 1983, they became indoctrinated as a 503c nonprofit, and they started the food pantry. It started off in a basement at Trinity on Grand Avenue in Waukegan, and then it grew to another building on Water Street, and it grew even larger to the building that we're at today. And so then 5 years later, they got together and they again said, what are we seeing a need for? And they were seeing a need for housing. A lot of families coming to them saying, asking for help with rent or saying they needed a place to stay. And so they got together and they decided to start the transitional housing program, which is still standing today. And so it's really through our churches that we got started, and it's through our churches that we're able to continue what we do today. We now have grown to 13 member churches from that original 6. And the churches, as member churches, they tithe to us, and then they're always talking with their congregations, with you guys, about what the needs of Cool are and supporting in big ways. St. James was able to support us a couple years back with a huge donation of $20,000, which goes a long, long way and that was for our housing program. It's a very expensive program to run. We own 10 units outright that were gifted to us. And we allow homeless families to come into those apartments, and they can stay with us rent-free for 2 years while they get their life back on track. We have a full-time case manager, which is how I started with Cool. I was at church one day, just like you guys, with my husband and my children, and I had just graduated college, and they announced that Cool was looking for a new housing case manager. And I always knew that I went into social work because obviously I could have picked a more lucrative career, but I wanted my heart to be as full as my check account. So that was more important to me. And so I just felt this calling to go. I said, that's for me. And I went and I applied, and here I am. It's been almost 10 years now with Cool. And when the director stepped down, when it was time for her to retire and move on, she said, I think you would be good for this position. And so I felt called to Cool that day in church. And it's such an important relationship that you guys have. We're able to help through the churches, like I said, through tithing and your guys' support. But not just that, we also get volunteers. We have a group from one of our churches. They call themselves the God Fellows. And they come and they drive our trucks, and they pass out food boxes, and they'll do, we always are looking for handyman help on our units because it's, again, very expensive to provide 10 apartments for different families, and things are always breaking down. If you have a home, you know how costly it is just to maintain one home, and so we have to maintain 10 of them, and we do that through the help of the volunteers, and oftentimes they come through our churches. And then we're able to make such a difference in people's lives. I was reached out to by one of your members not long ago who said that they knew someone through a church that you guys have taken under your wing, Sagrado Corazon, and they had experienced a house fire. And so they had nowhere to go, and now they're staying in one of our units. It happened to be that our unit was in the school district that her children were already in. So we're able to take her in and give her a place to stay while she gets her life back on track. And to be able to do something like that, it's really a fulfilling work. And another, not too long ago, a couple months ago, our policy is usually that you go through the program one time. It is a self-sufficiency program, so you go through the program one time, and we don't usually allow people to come back, through the program again. But I had gotten a call from somebody who had been through the program a few years back, and she was doing great, and things were going well. Her daughter had childhood cancer, unfortunately, but she was in remission, and they stayed with us, and she got back on her feet. Well, just this past I think it was August, they found a tumor on her daughter's spine, and the cancer was back. So they had to do surgery to remove this tumor. And the mother, it's a single mother, and she was living in a third-floor apartment. Well, when they've successfully removed the tumor. We can't say she's back in remission just yet, but we're very hopeful and prayerful that she will be soon. But she couldn't get around as good as she used to. They lived on a third-floor apartment with no elevators, and so her mother was going to have a difficult time getting her up there, but also she had to take unpaid leave from her job for 3 months while she was, going through these procedures with her daughter, and she was unable to make the rent, and she was getting evicted. And she called me and she said, "I know that we can't go through the program again, but I just don't know what to do." And I said, of course you can come in. So her and her daughter are back with us. She's able to concentrate on getting her daughter healthy again. She could go back to work, and then she could save her money to get back on her feet. And her and I sat in my office and cried together. She said, "I didn't know what to do. I was so distraught, and I prayed to God, and God spoke to me, and he said, 'Call Cool.'" And she did, and I really believe that he's working through me and through all of you to support our churches. So I can't tell you how much it means to us. And it's not just, the support, the volunteering and the social support, but it's also a financial support as well. The churches make up to almost 20% of our annual budget. So through you guys' giving, we're able to do what we do, and we couldn't do it without the churches. So I just want to thank you guys very much and let you know how important that you guys are to Cool and the relationship that we have with St. James and all of our churches, and that even if you're not seeing the day-to-day work, it's happening, and God's working through us all.